Yipee-Ki-Yay, Mr. Falcon.
Welcome back, Mr. Falconers. We've got a nostalgic trip for you today, I think you'd say. Baseball movies, right? Great American pastime. I know I'm usually too much of a cynic to say anything like that, but I believe in baseball. It has a very, very special place in my heart. I'm not a huge sports person compared to most people I know, but baseball has always been something special for me. It's one of the few sports I played at any level, not a high one, not even a moderate one, but I think it's unique in the fact that everyone can kind of play baseball at some point in their life. You know, football, you play touch football, you play flag football, but you're not really playing football. I think baseball is a lot like soccer in the way that, you know, little kids can play it. You're playing stickball in the street, you play a sandlot game, you know, you're playing baseball. It's essentially the same form without too many concessions. And then there's even softball. There's t-ball. Like it's baseball is adaptable to any age, any skill level. So my point is, it's the sport that I think, especially in my age group, most people have some hands-on experience with in a competitive space. And that's all well and good, but it's also buying into a tradition that's older than most traditions we have in the United States. And we're a fairly young country, so our shit doesn't go back too far. But baseball does. Baseball goes back to the mid 1800s. That ain't that far from the founding of our country, to be honest. And like they were playing baseball not too long after the Civil War. And that's pretty remarkable to think about. There's footage that Thomas Edison shot in one of the earliest video cameras of a baseball game from the late 1800s. That's incredible. And it's a game, a professional sport that has survived so many different eras, so many different time periods and moods and just this ever-changing country that we live in. It's been a constant. Now, baseball's changed. Of course, baseball's changed a lot, but it would have to, right? But it's still baseball. People can argue about some of the upcoming changes and some of the more recent changes to the game itself and how many things can be changed before it's not baseball anymore. But the biggest criticism these days is that baseball's too boring and the pitch timer kind of helped with that. But look, man, if you think baseball's too boring, you don't get the game. And no, it's not. I could watch a football game and point to the fact that most of the shit you're watching is guys wandering around on the field, setting up for plays. Like the actual action that you see in football is super minimal. I mean, you do 15 minutes a quarter. That's an hour. And you're watching football for like 3 fucking hours sometimes. Baseball's not boring. If it's boring, you don't get it. If it's boring, you don't know what to pay attention to be in. Now, there are boring games. Of course, there's boring games. There's always boring games. The sport itself is remarkably fluid and, no, you don't need me to expound on the majesty of baseball. You got plenty of people who've done that and can do it very, very well, far better than me. Go watch the Ken Burns documentary on baseball. Enjoy yourself. Listen to Bob Costas for a while, I guess. I don't know. I don't like him that much, but he does know his shit about sports. Baseball is drama. Okay? And you connect with baseball in a way, I think, then that you can't do so much in other sports. Basketball maybe, but it's a lot of things. It's the length of the season. It's the number of games. It's the fact that you play in all kind. Now you travel all over the country, crisscrossing Canada even, to play this sport that's also big in other countries. Japan, I mean, the amazing players coming out of Japan, and so many baseball players in the last few decades have come from so many different countries to play this game that doesn't really exist too many other, it's not part of very many other cultures. And the drama in that, the window for a ball player is still narrow, but at the same time, ball players can play for years and years and years in ways they can't in football or even basketball, partly because it doesn't destroy your body in the way that those sports do, but also because a player can evolve, and there's something about the game and the drama that is inherent to the game and the way it's all set up that just lends itself to movies. And also, we're going to get into this as me and Tom talk about it. It's easier, I think, to make a baseball movie look good compared to other sports. Like, you try, like, in your head, just think about what it would take to organize and orchestrate a bunch of actors and maybe some players, some real players, to run a fake football game. Like, even a few plays, it's daunting. That's an organization. It's like choreographing a very complicated fight scene, but everyone's wearing helmets and can't hear great, and big cumbersome pads, and they're outside on it. It's a lot. It's a lot. But baseball, especially with the tricks of filming, you don't need a player all you need a player, if he's pitching, he has to have a decent windup and look like he's pitching. You don't have to pitch. You can cut it. A hitter never really actually has to connect, especially today with the fucking CG, but even years past, a hitter doesn't have to connect with the ball to knock it out of the park in a movie. It's just easier to film, and there's just something sweet and clean about baseball in movies. It can be anything you want it to be. It can be the grand old game that you see in The Natural, a different era of baseball. It can be, this big fireworks-laden production like you see in, The Scout, or it can be the 90s baseball you see in Major League. It's and within that, there's so many stories. Managers who were players who never won a pennant, fucking players, new kids coming up, old dogs with a few more tricks left in them. There's just so much there. There's so much, and then the on the road component. Look at how they structured Major League. They purposely, in the plot, get rid of the plane so that they have to take a bus to their games. And that on the road component, you naturally had that in a league of their own, because they were a small women's baseball league during World War II. They bussed everywhere, and there's something in a movie. There's just something so bonding about that when you just add that layer for the characters. You see it in Slapshot too. When you go to a hockey movie, you see it in Slapshot, and just baseball has it all. It has everything. It has the nostalgia. It has, if you want, it has the action. It has the gravity. It has the history, the history making. It can be as subtle as pitching a perfect game, which is kind of it's an momentous achievement, but it's not fireworks, you know. Or you can have Roy Hobbs knocking the cover off the ball, or destroying the clock, or destroying the lights. You can do a lot with baseball, and I think that's why there have been so many baseball movies over the years. You know, you can make it very sports centric. You can make it very relationship centric. You can make it extremely nostalgic and emotional, like Field of Dreams. And that's what we're digging into. It's summer. It's hot. We've got till October. Baseball games will clean through October. So today we're going to take a look at our favorite baseball movies of all time. We're not ranking. We're not doing any of that stuff. But Tom and I are going to pick our favorite, top two favorite, like our favorite and then our backup favorite. And we'll see if we line up. And we'll see if we line up with what y'all think. Don't forget to drop us a comment. Let us know what your favorite baseball movie is. And let us know if you think baseball is the best sport to depict in movies. If baseball movies are some of the best sports movies of all time, or is there something else? Is there another sport? All right, let's get into it. So it's summer. We're deep in summer. It's June. We're well into summer now. And summer means baseball, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to a minor league game this weekend.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Have you been to a game yet this year?
Not this season. It's been a little while since I've been to a ball game. I was trying to go, but the team closest to us just happened to be at the time the best team in baseball.
Yeah, Phil's are having a good season.
They are on fire. But yeah, the tickets were insane as a result. I'm trying to bring 4 people to a ball game. I'm looking at nosebleed seats for $75 a pop. It's like I don't know, I can't swing that. That's a lot of money.
With kids, you can't get standing room only tickets.
Yeah,
just can't be done.
It'd also be a tough pill to swallow if they crap out in the 6th inning and want to go home.
Yeah, word. Yeah, I got lucky. I got to go this year. Someone played the Blue Jays, and I got to see a grand slam. That was pretty fucking cool.
That game was awesome.
Such a high-scoring game. It was a blast, man. Terrible pitching. It was a blast.
That's a beautiful ballpark, too.
Yeah, and my buddy won the tickets. Our buddy won the tickets in a raffle at work, so they were good tickets. And, it's a great park. It's a great park. And, the Trenton Thunder Park is not too bad, the minor league team. I've been going there since they opened. I think
it's a nice ballpark.
94, maybe?
It's been a long time.
Sounds about right. But yeah, they built that kind of old style, like an old style ballpark. They made an effort. It's right on the river. Waterfront Park, aptly named. I don't even know if it's still called that anymore. It's got some bank's name on it, or I think it's NJM. I think NJM. Yeah. For God's sake. Yeah, it gives me chills. You see the logo, you think of insurance bills. Yeah, we're gonna go check it out. It's still cheap, man. $12 a ticket.
That is a cheap ticket. That's awesome.
One beer costs more than your ticket.
I would totally see a ball game, though. I mean, I like baseball. I mean, I would love to see the Phillies play, but I would also love just being at a ball game. Even if it's 2 teams, just root for one.
Did you play Little League?
Yeah, I did for a time. We all played Little League for a hot minute.
Yeah, I was not good, but I played.
Me neither. I could hit.
It was a rite of passage. I had a good
Yeah,
eye. I got walked a lot because pitching was terrible.
right. Well, yeah, I could hit. I would swing on a second pitch, and it was always like a fastball down the middle. And then I'd get in the field, and like I'd just be bored to tears out there. And then like a fly ball would just drop at my feet because I wasn't paying attention. That's what would always happen.
It's like that song.
Yeah, I'm just
I play
staring
right
into
field.
space.
Yeah. I play right field. That was on the well, it was a Pizza Hut commercial in front of the movie on. I think it was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles tape.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. That was me.
That was you.
That was me.
You.
Just put me where I can do the least damage.
I played right field. I too played right field. It's just because I was not very fast to play anywhere else. I could kind of hit, but I was not good. I was much better at watching baseball and enjoying it. But yeah, it is a rite of passage kind of to play in some capacity. My wife played softball for years, whether she wanted to or not. Yeah. I always liked it. I liked it. I hated like how serious the coach parents were about it, even then in Little League. But I always liked, there's something about it feels different than any other sport. A ball field doesn't feel like a football stadium, even if it is an all-purpose stadium. When it's a ball field, it feels different. The sounds of baseball are so unique. They've changed a little, but not that much. It still sounds the same. The bat, the leather of the mitt.
When you hear someone crack a home run, you could just hear it coming off the bat. You're like, oh, that thing's gone.
Even on TV, it's a cool sound, but in person, there's nothing like it, man. I even love hearing that sound of that aluminum bat, because that makes me think of childhood. That's what we played with in Little League. We weren't even allowed to use wooden bats. You ever see a major leaguer hit with an aluminum bat?
Oh yeah, they fucking destroy it.
There's a few videos out on YouTube of it, of like them just fucking around at practice, either with a pitching machine or a pitcher, behind a cage.
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh, man, they just ding it out of the fucking park. It's wild.
Yeah, it's like
physics are cool.
It goes to space.
Physics are so cool. Anyway, if you can't play and you can't afford to go to a ball game, as some people can, you can definitely afford to go to a White Sox game this year. Dude, one thing before we get into it, I saw footage of a White Sox Cubs game recently, Subway Series.
Mm-hmm.
The park was absolutely empty.
Oh yeah,
like there wasn't even one person sitting behind home plate. Like, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And then the Phillies have like 40,000 people for every game. It's
wild. They sell out. The other one was Miami. Oh my God, you watch the Marlins play. Those stands are empty. I don't know if it's like that this year, but yeah, in years past, a team will go to Miami. There's 10 people in the stands.
That's a fucking shame.
You see the home runs drop into the stands, and there's no one near it, and then you see like 4 kids just like run into the frame after the ball.
You know what I want to do? I want to go see I've never seen a Baltimore game. I've never seen an Orioles game, and they're real close. Yeah. And there's no excuse for that. I want to do that. And someday I want to go to Boston for a game. That would be really cool.
Yeah. Was that Fenway?
Yeah, that would be great to me. Still, I mean, it's not that close, but it's doable.
Baltimore, Camden Yards, that ballpark's beautiful.
I've never been there. Yeah.
That was like the prototype for like the new style. It's like Citizen Bank is basically like pretty closely based on the way they built Camden Yards. Like Camden Yards set the footprint, the blueprint for like the modern ballpark. It's great.
Thank God, because I mean, I had affection for the Vet, but it was not a pleasant place to be.
The Vet was brutal. The Vet was a brutal place.
Literally brutalist. But, okay, So all that aside, real life baseball aside, there's this whole other world of fictional baseball that you can go visit whenever you want in the dead of winter when you're super depressed and you wish it was summer. You can just turn on a League of Their Own. It feels like summer. So I don't know. Like I don't know how we should do this. There's so many great baseball movies.
There's a ton.
I kind of feel like we should start out with our favorite, and then we can run through the list and of the great ones, and then maybe we'll see if we still feel like our favorite is our favorite at the end.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that sounds good.
Let's do it. Let's run it down.
So what would you say off the bat is your all-time favorite baseball movie? Is there one you watch, like try to watch every year?
Well, no, there's not one baseball movie that I try to watch all the time. But I had, of the ones I've seen, the one that I'd like to go back to the most is The Natural.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like The Natural. I like it. It's a combination of just like, baseball. There's you get everything you want from a baseball movie in terms of just seeing the sport. You get some really good performances from a pretty stacked cast.
Yeah,
and
it's anyone who doesn't know, it's 1984, The Natural, with Robert Redford, Robert Duvall, Glenn Close, Kim Basinger, Wilford Brimley, Barbara Hershey. Like, it just keeps going and going.
Who's the dad from Christmas Story? What's that guy's name?
The dad from, I'm not a Christmas Story guy.
He was in that show, The Night Stalker or whatever. Night
Stalker? Who was he in The Natural?
He was the one that was always making bets. He's just like, I bet you can't tell me how much money I got in my pocket.
Oh, the gangster guy.
Yeah. Anyhow, it's in addition to being a baseball movie, it's a period piece.
Yeah.
I enjoy a good period piece, and like there's this bit of like mystery surrounding the title, the main character. What's his name? Roy Hobbs, I think.
Roy Hobbs. Yes,
Roy
sir.
Hobbs. Yeah, he's got like this mythic quality about him that reminds you of some real life players that have this mystique about them, and like they're the stuff of legends. You think of like these old timey baseball players, and that like they're larger than life to us because we didn't really get to watch them. All you get to hear about them, and people talk about them like they're baseball gods, And I just kind of like that quality of the movie.
Well, I'll tell you, how I usually put a movie on in the background when we do these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have The Natural on because it is also my favorite baseball movie.
Oh, we have the same one?
Yeah. This was not planned. This was not planned. I used to watch this with my dad a lot, and it was one of his favorite movies too. And I love it. I absolutely love it. Like you said, the period, the fact that it's a period piece, and it's I think it's post-war, the 40s.
Yeah.
I mean, that time period in baseball anything 50s and earlier in baseball goes so well together. And like all sports movies, good baseball movies aren't very much about baseball itself, because you wanted to watch something that's all about baseball, you could watch fucking baseball. It's about people, it's about interesting characters. And yeah, the mystery of Roy Hobbs, I find endlessly intriguing because it's great because of what it doesn't tell you.
Right.
And there's like, if you don't know, Roy Hobbs starts off as a very promising young baseball player. He's, I don't know what, like, I guess he's 18, 19, like instead of heading off to college, he's on his way to, I believe, play for Chicago. And he's an incredible pitcher, like superhuman. And he runs into an evil, temptress woman who's a serial killer.
Devil woman.
Yeah, she's on her. She's on a quest to kill like the most promising athlete in every sport, and she's on baseball, and she's haunting this guy who's kind of like a fake Babe Ruth, and then she turns her attention to Roy when he strikes him out, and she shoots him in the gut, and then we don't like it's like Jesus, like the middle of his life is missing. So
Right.
we don't see him again until he crops up in what, his early 30s,
Yeah,
maybe late 30s even.
he's like on borderline too old to play.
Yeah, he's an old man for baseball even then. And he shows up at a team called the New York Knights. Just got come up from the minors. They suck. Terrible team. And there's all kinds of politics about it, but he's basically, for all intents and purposes, and for all anyone knows, because this is pre-internet, you can't look up shit from a paper in some little shit town somewhere unless you're in that shit town's library, So as far as anyone knows, he just shows up off the street, and he's one of the best hitters anyone's ever seen. But he doesn't pitch. And then you find out later he doesn't pitch because he still has the bullet in his gut. And he can't pitch, or it starts like tearing.
Gross.
It's gross. But the cool part is you don't know, like he hints that he worked at a circus, maybe in the interim. Like he has this entire life. And you have to imagine what a guy went through to suffer that kind of blow, to like be the most promising baseball player. And then just for some goofy shit, like he didn't even bang that lady. And then she just shoots him. It's fucking bullshit. And then he just bounces around doing weird, odd jobs and living an entire another life until he like gets it in his mind that before he's absolutely too old, he's going to give it another shot. And tries out for a minor league team. It's fucking wild to think about, but they never tell you any of that. And
Right.
they don't have to. They don't have to.
Yeah,
And,
it adds to the whole like mystery about him. Like he seems otherworldly because you don't know exactly where he came from.
Yep.
Like when the things the things that have no origin story are the ones that wind up having this big question mark behind them, and you just automatically want to know more about them.
Great ending too. Great ending.
That's a good ending.
Duvall's the shitbag sports writer. It's got everything. It's got the bat. He makes his own bat. He makes a bat out of the tree that is split by lightning the day his father dies. And
doesn't he carve a little lightning bolt into it?
yeah, and Wonder Boy. And
Wonder Boy.
He uses it all the way till it breaks in the final game on a pitch, and then he has to switch to the other bat that him and the Bat Boy made together. He taught him how to make it. Fucking Savoy Special. I remembered the Savoy Special. I don't know. I love this movie, and it's great. I think baseball respects this movie in a way it doesn't other movies. Even in Cooperstown, you'll find New York Knights jerseys in the stores. Really? Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It really represents that, the last, what anyone might call the golden age of baseball. It was still pretty much old school baseball. Before the expansion teams, before West Coast baseball, end of an era, like last bit of an era. And,
you had no expansion teams, so you wound up with these teams that were stacked. Like just think of like Murderers Row on the Yankees. Yeah. And like as much as I can't stand the Yankees, like that team was just loaded.
Yeah, it was a special time for baseball, and the Naturals, divorced from all that. It doesn't reference any real players at all, and some baseball movies certainly do. But there's, it's totally fiction, which is fine. But they play real teams. They play real teams, and it's neat to see those period uniforms and everything. I assume they got it right. I didn't look. You ever been to Cooperstown? Speaking of,
I've never been. No, never
No?
been there.
you should check it out sometime, man. It's a good vacation too for the family when the kids are a little older, maybe. And hopefully Phillies fans.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's just gotten better. It's been years since I've been there, but I'm sure it's better than it was. And there's all kinds of shit to waste your money on in the town.
I always thought about like trying to get out there at a time when the Phillies would be playing, like, well, I guess it would be the Reds, Cincinnati Reds, and like try to do both in the same trip.
That would be cool, huh? That was the first baseball game I ever saw at the Vet, was a Phillies-Reds game. Long time ago, in the 90s.
Yeah. God,
In the 90s, when the Reds were really
Vet.
good.
What a hole.
What a hole. What a ugly, towering hole. However, I did kind of love the Spectrum in a dirty way.
Oh, the
miss the
Spectrum was
Spectrum.
great. I love the Spectrum.
I saw Green Day at the Spectrum. It was good.
You saw Green Day there?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. The Natural. We agree. That's crazy.
Great movie.
That's wonderful.
Great
I'm sorry
movie.
we don't get to argue about something, but yeah, that's my favorite
Well,
baseball movie. It's got everything.
Don't worry. There's
I'm
more
sure
to come.
we'll get there. Okay. Second favorite. I don't know, man. It sounds goofy, but I have to say A League of Their Own.
Okay.
It's a great
No,
baseball
that's
movie.
a great movie.
And Tom Hanks, again, a stacked cast, ridiculous that cast. Tom Hanks is amazing. Gina Davis is awesome. What's her name? Kit, from Point Break. I always forget her name.
Oh, yeah. I forget
Hold
it. I
on.
know.
We have to give her her due. She's awesome.
His name's Bodhi. Bodhisattva.
You got it behind your eyes, Johnny. That same look. God damn it. You know what I mean, man? You know what I mean,
What?
Dave? What, did you see that when you were a kid when it came out, or did
The
you
League
see
of
it
Their Own?
later?
Yeah, I saw it like when it came out. It was huge.
Lori Petty.
Lori Petty.
And also
'Cause it had-
Madonna was in it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it had Madonna in it, and like the whole world knew Madonna at that point. She had exploded by then.
Yeah, that was 92. That was 92. She was firmly a superstar by then. And decided she was going to act. She did this, and she did the Dick Tracy movie. I don't know if she did much else. I know she did that
She's
other
pretty good.
movie when she was younger, too. Yeah, she was all right in this. She has one line, a few lines that are pretty lame, that aren't super well delivered. But what are you going to do?
Yeah, League of Their Own is great.
There's so many great moments.
It's a good setup.
Yeah.
It's infinitely quotable. Oh my
Yeah.
God! Like there's no crying in baseball. I mean, how many times have people repeated that line?
Yeah, that's one of those classic Hollywood lines at this point. The lump that's 3 feet above your ass. You know who? That dude I can't stand. Lovitz. John Lovitz is
John
great in
Lovitz?
this. Yeah, he's
Oh, yeah.
great in this. He only has that little part as the scout in the very beginning, but he's fantastic because that's about as much John Lovitz as you can stand. It's
Yeah,
that amount. It's a perfect amount of Lovitz.
the perfect dose. I love the part when Tom Hanks signs the ball for the little kid, and he reads. He's like, "Wow, avoid the clap, Jimmy Duke."
That's good advice. when he's asleep on the bus and the what is she? She's like the den mother. Goes
Yeah.
to wake him up and she like screams, "Mr. Dugan!" And he's all drunk. And he's like, "What is it, baby?" And just starts kissing her. And then he opens his eyes and realizes who it was. He gets that stupid Tom Hanks grin, and then it turns to horror, and he like rinses his mouth out with whiskey from his flask. The noises he makes is just
Yeah,
love
Tom Hanks
it.
is great.
I can never not laugh at that. I love it when they're making that girl who they teach how to read. She's reading that porno book
Oh God.
with that deep country accent. She got milky white breasts. Yeah, it gets really good here. No.
I'm thinking about it now. Like there was a lot of stuff in that. I think people like let their kids watch that movie because it seemed like very wholesome. Just it's like a women's baseball team, but like some of the jokes in it, you're like, oh boy, when he's yelling at the ref. Anyone ever tell you look like a little penis with a hat on?
A little hat on. I mean, at least he didn't say a cock. Like, there were lines, man. They didn't cross any of them PG-13 lines. Yeah, we used to watch this in school.
Yeah.
They turn this on every once in a while, especially toward the end of the year.
I feel like everyone forgot about all the objectionable stuff in it.
Things were different then, man. Things were different.
It's a great movie.
It is. It is a great movie. And I still can't believe that old lady, who's the old lady version of Gina Davis, wasn't Gina Davis in makeup. Like, they actually found the lady who looked a lot like her. But then they had Gina Davis dub the lines. She dubs the lines for all that actress through the whole ending.
Okay, I did not know that.
You can notice it if you're super paying attention, but otherwise they did really good. No, it's if anyone hasn't seen it, you got to check it out. And it's about something too. There's a section about it in Cooperstown now, and has been for years. But it's a true moment in baseball history when there briefly was a women's baseball league during World War II. And it was a whole league unto its own.
Yeah.
With skirts for uniforms and everything. So it kind of, it's not super historically accurate, and, it's pretty Hollywoody, but it's good Hollywoody. And again, baseball just fits in that era like a glove. Man.
It's okay to be Hollywoody when it adds something. And in this case, it adds something.
Because again, if you want literal baseball, you can watch baseball. This is a fantasy it's a historical fiction. But the end of it is actually filmed in the section in Cooperstown, which is really cool. I'm sure it doesn't look anything like that anymore, but all right, cool. We're loving that. That's great. All right,
that's a good one. Well, that's your second favorite, right?
Yeah.
My second favorite, and this might be cheesy, but I like it.
Tell me.
It's a Sandlot.
Sandlot, hell yeah, dude.
Sandlot. Sandlot. It's just it's
great.
It's totally different flavor of baseball. It's kids playing ball after or during the summer at the local field, and that movie's goofy as hell, but in addition to having a lot of baseball in it, and like these kids, it's kind of like what we were saying with the Natural. These kids were like, us when we were kids. When you hear about people like Babe Ruth, and you hear about Ted Williams and Sandy Koufax and all these like larger than life baseball players, and like they seem like superheroes to you, and you're like, oh man, well maybe if I practice and play ball like all the time, like I can do those same things. And like what that movie does really well is just give you this sense of just being completely obsessed with this, what's essentially a game. It's remembering that baseball, although it's like a profession that people have, it's also a game that you can play as a kid. And like when you're out playing in that scenario with your friends, like there's no better time in your life than when you're a kid, just playing out all day in the summer, and that movie.
I love when they talk about, sometimes they didn't even keep score. They just went out there to play. I love that too.
Yeah, just running.
It's kind of like just daydreaming.
Running the bases.
Pretending that you're,
yeah, it's
Yankee
physical
Stadium.
daydreaming.
Yeah. And again, that's a period movie, right? And it's the early 60s, I believe.
Yeah.
It kind of almost feels like a Stephen King-y kind of era, without something awful killing children. And the flavor of it is so good. Dennis Leary as the stepfather is really good.
You're going to go outside.
Yeah, there's that distance though that between him and the kid that felt so real in an otherwise pretty light film. And the whole bit with the dog is just great. And it's just that verge of saccharine, where it's not too saccharine, just enough before it gets stupid.
Yeah.
And the ending is great. Ending is great. Love the ending.
Is really
man.
great. Oh, you mean like when in the
Both
in
endings.
the real
Both
the real
endings.
ball game?
Yeah, the real ball game when they're adults and the whole all
Doesn't
of it.
Benny the Jet steal home?
Yeah, hell yeah, he does. And he's announcing up there. It's great,
Benny
man.
the Jet Rodriguez.
And then you got James Earl Jones, with that. I guess you call it a long cameo.
Yeah.
Outstanding. And again, a guy who's kind of married to baseball in the movie world for a lot of people, because he, Field of Dreams.
And then there's remember the flashbacks scene where they're telling the story of the dog.
Yeah, all the,
and like
the
how
ridiculous suburban legends about the dog.
Yeah, and just how exaggerated. Yeah, the beast, just how huge the dog is in the flashback. It's like these ridiculous proportions that don't make any physical sense.
When its head comes up like by the fence and it swallows the ball, it's like a horse.
No, yeah, and they make it seem like this monster, and like not for nothing. That is a big dog. I don't know if you've ever seen. That's a mastiff. I think it's like an English mastiff.
I'll
tell you a story.
Has a mastiff. It's huge.
My father-in-law rescued a dog. Right, it was a golden retriever, but it was a rescue, and it had lived like a rough situation, and it had some issues where one of which were like it would bolt if the door or the gate was ever left open. This dog would just bolt, take off running. So my father-in-law is getting married. He's getting remarried, and it's his wedding day, and something happens, and this dog gets out and runs off.
Oh God.
Oh my God, this thing's going to get hit by a car and ruin, ruin my father-in-law's wedding day. So I'm wearing a suit. I take off after the dog. I'm just running flat out as fast as I can. So I see it go around the corner of a house, and I'm like, oh, I see it. I'm going to get the dog. I round the corner. I see the dog. I'm like, oh, thank God I found it. And the reason it stopped was because it came face to face with two slobbering mammoth English mastiffs, and I just thought, like, fuck, this is how I die. My mind, this is it for me. My mind immediately went back to Sandlot. I'm like, this is how I meet my end. Goodbye, cruel world. It's nice knowing you. And this dog,
by dogs.
These two dogs come up and just surround me, and like just start nosing at me like violently, like just sniffing all around me, and I just stood stone still, just afraid I was gonna get et. And luckily, like the owner came out and called them off, and they went away. And I just looked down, I'm covered in like dog slobber
and piss. So your own piss.
Yeah, probably. I bring the dog back, and I'm like, they're like, "Oh my God, Tom got the dog. You saved the day." And then but like I was just pale as a sheet because I was convinced I was gonna die in that backyard. Oh my God! But yeah, they were just total Sandlot dogs.
All right, man. I'm glad you survived. I'm glad you made it.
Yeah, man. Lived to tell the tale.
You could have peed on them though to assert your dominance.
I did it if I probably could have, but it wouldn't have felt like dominance. It would have just been out of abject fear. Jesus.
Also, we must mention the Sandy peppercorn scene, which was legendary.
Oh God, at the pool.
Now people say it's rapey, but whatever. We loved it.
What was the kid's name? Squints?
Yeah, Squints. And then also
he can't swim.
The chewing tobacco scene on the carnival ride.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought of that
pretty
the first
good.
time I ever did chew. Absolutely did. All right, so we got those. Another one we both love. That's fantastic. Speaking of James Earl Jones in baseball, how do you feel about Field of Dreams, which is going to get us into another guy who's in a lot of fucking baseball movies?
Well, you're not going to like this.
What?
I've never seen Field of Dreams.
Wow, really? How?
Never seen it.
How have you gotten away with it all this time and never seen Field of Dreams?
I don't know, man. Like, I'm aware of all the tropes. Like, like if you build it, he will come.
Yeah.
I've heard all that. I've seen people gush about that movie. I've heard people talk about how much they like it, and I've been able to like infer what I think that movie's about. I've just never had a chance to watch it, and I don't know that I ever like wanted to really. I hear it's a great movie, but never saw it. I don't really have an excuse.
Despite what you may think about it from what you know about it, it's I mean, there is a level of corniness, but it's definitely not as corny as you may think it is. And it really is a love letter to baseball in more than one way. But again, like all good baseball movies, it's not so much about the game as about the characters.
Right.
And, it's got some father-son stuff that's probably going to make you cry.
Oh, really?
I'm just saying. Okay. I'm just saying. Like, I wouldn't say this is in my top 5, I would think, of baseball movies if we were doing that. I didn't like it for a long time. I didn't like it when I was younger.
Do you put it above or below the Sandlot?
I think a little above, yeah. Yeah,
okay.
Be above. Like I did not like this movie when I was younger, and it came out in '89. So I mean, I saw it the first time when I was very young. Hated it. Probably got forced to watch it another time when I was younger. Didn't like it. Watched it as an adult. Completely different story. There was nothing in it I could relate to as a kid except choking on a hot dog. Right. Maybe you'll know when you see. But that's a pivotal scene. But as an adult, there's a lot you can relate to. As a dad, you can probably relate, to quite a bit in this now. And again, it's another baseball movie with a stacked cast. Kevin Costner, James Earl Jones, Ray Liotta, Amy Madigan is Annie, Kevin Costner's wife.
Mm-hmm.
And Frank Wally. He's been in all kinds of shit. He was Robbie Krieger in the Doors movie.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about. That guy.
Even Burt Lancaster is in this fucking movie.
Burt Lancaster.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, and part of it is a road trip movie, believe it or not. You really should see it at some point. It's good to watch in the summer. It really is.
I've heard it's kind of like required viewing,
Yeah, you're not going to be sad that you saw it. I would warn you away from it if it was just saccharine dog shit. And hey, you like Kevin Costner, right?
I like Kevin Costner. I like Ray Liotta. Ray Liotta's great.
He's great in this. He's very young. He plays Shoeless Joe Jackson. He's fantastic. Not me. He makes the most of every line.
I saw some little interview with Kevin Costner when he's like he's pitching to Shoeless Joe Jackson. Mm-hmm. And apparently Kevin Costner could really pitch. Like he could throw a curveball. So he threw a curveball, like a legit curveball at Ray Liotta, who then belted it right back at him and knocked over the ball bag.
No shit.
In that shot, there's a shot in the movie when he hits the ball right back at Kevin Costner and it knocks over the ball bag. Like it was like that all happened like
in real life.
The real take, and it made the movie. And like, I had no idea
that was real.
It's crazy that like two actors could pull off. I mean, it's got to be hard to film someone hitting a liner off a curveball right back at the mound. Like, what are the odds that you catch that on film?
Oh, for sure. Most of the stuff you see is trickery, in baseball movies. But I think that's also the thing about baseball is it's a bit easier to film than other sports, fake other sports.
Right.
Like, think about all the things that have to be moving all at once to film a play on a football field and have it come out exactly the way you want it to be.
Right.
Even just from one side of it, even with just the quarterback just throwing and not, filming the catch differently, which you definitely always do for a movie. It's a lot of shit, man. Plus everyone on the sidelines and everything. Like most baseball movies, you can't tell whether there's a crowd or not.
Right.
You film the batter, just the batter. You show the pitcher throwing, and then it cuts to the batter.
You show the play.
It's much easier to film, I would imagine. Maybe that's why there's been so many baseball movies and so few football movies.
Yeah, it also makes it like, I wonder if like hockey's worse to film than football. That's why there's not that many hockey movies.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And plus, you need actors who can skate.
Yeah.
That's a bitch. Something I read about the original Major League, which is a great baseball movie from when we were young.
Oh yeah, Major League's great.
It's comedy, but it's still a great baseball movie. But apparently, Charlie Sheen pitched in college, so he could actually pitch. He had like an 80-something mile an hour fastball. So he was, of course, he looked really natural as a pitcher. Of course, he didn't throw nearly hard as his character did, but apparently, what's his name? Blade. Help. Fucking Blade.
Wesley Snipes?
Thank you. Wesley Snipes was Willie Mays Hayes. Willie Mays Hayes. Apparently, he couldn't do anything.
Yeah, he could run.
You never see him throw in the movie because apparently he couldn't throw a baseball and make it look not stupid. And
and not everybody knows how to do it.
When he runs, they always show it in slow motion because he couldn't run very fast. They had to do some trickery.
They had to juice up his scenes. I think I saw something similar. Yeah, like Charlie Sheen's fast. He like worked on his fastball, and then by the time they were like ready to shoot his scenes, he was throwing 85 miles an hour.
He said in an interview he did steroids for the movie.
Yeah. He got juiced to get his velocity up, but 85 doesn't sound like a whole lot when you consider now like there are guys that could throw 100, but at the time they filmed that movie, the average major league fastball was 87 miles an hour.
Yeah,
so
for an actor, that's pretty fucking good, man.
He was almost on par with just your average fastball in the Major League Baseball, which is nuts.
And if you notice, they centered a lot of the movie around him pitching, and a lot of the footage when he's pitching is from home plate and everything. Like you see it, and I'm sure they were grateful they had at least one actor that they could film everything. And that's funny too. There's batters, like different baseball movies focus on different things about baseball too, and a lot of it's pitchers and hitters, right? They get a lot of the attention.
Yeah, they don't make a lot of movies about fielders.
No, you don't. Not short. There's not a movie about like the greatest shortstop,
right?
But all right, so Field of Dreams is just general baseball. Major League is general baseball. The Natural's about a hitter. Bull Durham is about hitters.
Right.
Rookie of the Year was about a pitcher.
Right.
The Scout was about a pitcher. The Love of the Game was about a pitcher.
Wait, which one's the Scout?
That's the one with Brendan Fraser.
Oh, yep, I've seen that one. Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
That's an underappreciated movie. Yeah.
He can pitch and he can like switch hit.
Yep.
For power. Yeah, he's like incredible.
Yeah, he's a baseball prodigy, and Albert Brooks is the disgraced baseball scout who's sent to the ass crack of Mexico, I think it is.
Yeah.
And that's where he finds him playing in some little tiny dirt league for this little town. And he wants him to come play for the Yankees, right? And he's my man's got some PTSD. Brendan Fraser's character, Steve Nebraska, was his name in the movie.
Steve Nebraska.
Duncan, Idaho. Yeah, Steve Nebraska.
Duncan, Idaho.
And he's got some serious, like he was abused as a kid, and he's got some serious damage, and he just starts freaking out, and I don't. It sounds pretty simplistic, but it was a good movie. It was different. It was a different kind of baseball movie. I liked it. It used to come on cable a lot,
liked
and I
it
would
too.
watch it.
So
It's definitely on the good side.
yeah,
All
it's
right.
funny you say that, like movies about hitters, movies about pitchers. Like what other kind of baseball movies are there?
Ensemble. I think, I mean, Major League focuses on
Right.
Charlie and Wild Things, pitching, but it's definitely not the whole movie. Tom Berenger is more the protagonist of that film, and he's a catcher.
Right.
It's more about the team, I think. Serrano, I mean, he's the hitter in that movie. Pedro Serrano.
Is that the one with Jobu?
Yeah, that's my man. Man,
Jobu.
the president plays him.
You know what's funny?
What?
You just mentioned that like Wesley Snipes was terrible, like physically, and they couldn't film him doing certain things because he just wasn't coordinated. He was in another baseball movie where he was basically like this star player of this team. Do you remember what it was?
No.
Because it wasn't exactly a baseball movie. It happened. Did you ever see The Fan?
Oh, with De Niro,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
His name
It
was
wasn't
like Bobby something. Let's go,
right,
Bobby! You know,
right,
he
right.
becomes obsessed with him, and
That
he
was a
starts
really
trying to
annoying
like.
movie. That
He
was a really
kills.
annoying movie.
Oh, Benicio del Toro is like
Yeah.
another player on the team that Bobby
Right.
gets traded to, but he won't give up his number, and
Yeah,
so
that's right.
Robert De
Wow.
Niro kills him as a way to help Bobby's career.
I think I
weird
saw
movie.
that when it hit rental stores, and I haven't seen it since.
But
I
yeah,
remember
Wesley
no
Snipes,
details about it.
he was the star player, and like he was like their star hitter, their star fielder, and it's just funny to think about the fact that like he couldn't make anything look good in Major League. How the hell did they film The Fan?
As I recall, there weren't that many baseball scenes like on the field. Isn't that the one where he brings a pistol onto the field?
No, he brings a knife. He
A
was like
knife, that's
He was
right.
a pitcher, and he's like, let me pitch to you, and he's about to like throw it, like pitch a knife, and then like he gets shot dead, I think.
Oh, I'm thinking of Last Boy Scout. And that was a pistol on
That
the
was a football
field.
game.
Yeah,
Ain't life a bitch?
that's a fucking movie. That's a fucking movie.
Yeah, that is a movie.
Back to baseball. How about some more modern ones? How do you feel about I don't know, Moneyball?
Moneyball's great.
All right.
Moneyball's
you
great.
can't-
That was baseball from a totally different angle that you'd never seen before.
Yeah,
I thought
I
it
would've-
was like completely unique in what they showed, which aspect of baseball they chose to focus on, and that was like how do you build a winning team, and it's not necessarily the best player at every position. It's like it's the right guy for your approach.
It was like a behind the curtain baseball movie,
It was great.
and it was about, and I think it's one of the very few movies that's about baseball itself. The
Right.
character development is very tertiary to the film, but interestingly enough, there's not that much baseball in it. Like there's not much playing of the game in the movie. And again, it's like it's mostly about and there's enough character development. It's a balanced movie, you know.
Oh, what's the name of the guy that Brad Pitt plays? I forget his name. Billy Bean?
Yeah, Billy Bean
Yeah,
was a
that's
real
it.
dude.
Yeah, he
And
was
this
great.
is all based on a real story too. This is kind of
Yeah.
how it all went down
That's
that one season.
pretty on the nose. Yeah, that what was it? The Oakland A's. That A's team
Mm-hmm.
was nuts that year. They were great. And then and Jonah Hill. Man,
Yeah,
Jonah
yeah.
that was like the start of Jonah Hill as an actor and not just a comedic
He got
actor.
nominated for an Oscar for this, I believe.
He was great.
Yeah, and Philip Seymour Hoffman had a small role, but he's always great. It was one of his last roles. Robin Wright, she was great. That's Jen
Chris
A.
Pratt's in that movie.
Yes, he's the young, troubled ball player, right? That he makes into a First baseman?
First
right?
base, yeah.
He was a catcher? Is that yeah, right?
I forget what position
I think he
played
was a
before.
catcher and he can't make the throw to second anymore because he got hurt. And so he turns him into first baseman.
But he could still hit for power, I think.
Yes. Yes. It's a fantastic film. And yeah, you're right. It's unlike any other baseball movie, I think. And it's definitely a what's the fucking guy from who's the jerk off owner in this? I can't remember.
I don't know.
Brad Pitt has some great scenes too, and when he's like wheeling and dealing and trading for players and shit on the phone, and him and Jonah Hill couldn't be more contrasting like human beings. Like it's kind of weird that they're the same species of creature.
When they get a player they're after, and Jonah Hill is just looking at the camera, just going like,
you can't help but laugh because it's Jonah Hill. That's a great movie, man. Another, like, I think of it as it's a few years old now, but Trouble with the Curve.
That one I've never seen.
No? Oh, man, you
never
like
saw
Clint
Trouble
Eastwood
with the Curve.
movies.
I do.
Yeah, you should check that one out, dude. You should watch that before anything else we talked about here.
Really? Okay.
He didn't direct this, but it's a great baseball movie. Amy Adams is fucking awesome in this. I love Amy Adams. I liked her since The Fighter, which I love her in. She's awesome in that too.
The Fighter. Oh, Amy Adams. Yeah.
Lois Lane in the newer Superman movies.
She's in The Arrival.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great.
American Hustle.
Yeah. Yeah, with Christian Bale and everyone else. No, she was excellent in this.
I like her as an actress. I think she's a good actress. But like I know people that are like obsessed with her, and like honestly, like me personally, I don't get it. I don't get it.
I mean, okay. I'm so obsessed with her. She's a good actor. And she plays Mickey, who's Clint Eastwood's daughter.
Okay.
In this. So there's a lot of.
Is he a pitcher scout?
He's just a scout. He's a old time baseball scout who's just kind of hanging on by the skin of his teeth, trying to get forced into retirement. And she's like a high powered lawyer. And John Goodman plays his old friend who is kind of high up, I think, in the Red Sox organization. I think that's who he scouts for. And he's trying to protect him, and he calls the daughter because he's like losing his eyesight and he's denying it and he's slipping a little bit. And she kind of secretly hates her job, so she takes a break. And she used to go around with him when she was a kid, scouting on the road to ballparks all over the country.
She knows it.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a return to form for her. And there's some family drama and stuff, but it's not overwrought. You know, it's not melodramatic, really. It's just really solid. And there's a lot of good baseball in it, too. And Justin Timberlake has a part. And he's not bad. He's not bad. Yeah. Yeah. It's not a big test of his range, but it's not bad. And Matthew Lillard is in it, and he plays a gigantic piece of shit. Which he does very well. If you haven't seen him do it, he's great at it.
Oh boy,
yeah, check that one out, man. That's a great movie. It's a great movie.
Trouble with the Curve. Got it.
Trouble with the Curve. Did they used to make you watch Rookie of the Year when you were a kid?
Yeah, I've seen Rookie of the Year.
I hate that movie.
That funky butt loving.
What a ridiculous movie.
Yeah. It's just,
and they used to make us watch Angels in the Outfield too.
I saw that one. That one
didn't
was
they make
goofy.
like 8 of those? They made a bunch of sequels to that. But
yeah,
I never saw anyone.
Angels in the dugout.
Yeah.
Angels in the bullpen.
We used to watch the one with Christopher Lloyd. That's the one I remember. And I think the guy from Home Alone was in. That was Rookie of the Year.
That was Rookie of the Year.
Get my shit straight.
Wait.
Was it?
Yeah. What team did he play for in Rookie of the Year?
Yanks,
the
wasn't
Mets?
it? Was it the Mets? I thought it was the Yankees.
I thought it was the Mets.
Oh, I'm looking at it right now, and it looks to be the Cubbies.
All right, so we're all wrong.
Yeah, we were all fucked up. It's the Cubs. It's the Cubs. That was the one. That was the Buse. The Buse is loose. Gary Busey was in that one. I think I'm thinking of. I think the guy from Home Alone was in Angels in the Outfield. Yeah.
Maybe. No, he's not. He's. I can picture him. I can pick Daniel Stern is who we're thinking
Yes.
of,
Yeah.
and I can see him in like a Mets uniform.
So what movie is it from?
I don't know. I'm going to set our team of analysts on this. Oh wait, he's the pitching coach of the Chicago Cubs in Rookie of the Year. So maybe I am thinking of that.
I said fucking Rookie of the Year.
You did, and I told you were wrong. I apologize.
He also directed that movie. Daniel Stern
really?
directed Rookie of the Year.
What the heck?
Bruh. That's the truth. It's the truth. The Fan. Wow. I'm going to have to watch that. Have you
That
ever seen...
movie's not good.
Have you ever seen 61?
No, I've heard that's great.
Yeah, that was really good.
That's like, and correct me if I'm wrong, that's about what, the Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris are both chasing who had the record
run
before? Was it
record.
Babe Ruth?
Yeah, both playing for the Yankees, both chasing Babe Ruth record. It's Thomas Jane playing Mantle and Barry Pepper playing Maris. And I mean, not only is it a great bit of real baseball history, an incredible season in Yankee history and baseball history, but they play the hell out of the roles, man. You know, Roger Maris had a very distinct way about him, and Barry Pepper really nails it. And I never realized before this movie how much Thomas Jane actually looks like fucking young Mickey Mantle.
He really does.
They made him look just like Mickey, and he got his swing down and everything, man. Him wearing that short sleeve uniform, it just seemed like Mickey Mantle for a second. It's a fucking shame the way people treated Roger Maris. He went through a lot of shit, and you know they go into it pretty deep. It was a rough season.
Yeah,
for him.
and that record stood for how long before who beat Mark McGwire beat it?
Yeah, when we were younger, Mark McGwire and his roided up arms beat it.
Yeah, his supplements.
Yeah, and then he went on to hit 70 that year.
He had 70, yeah.
Yeah, and then
Barry Bonds broke it and no one cared.
now who's the guy that Mark McGwire was racing that season?
Sammy Sosa.
Sammy Sosa, who also ended up breaking Ruth's record that year, but
yeah,
McGwire did it first, so no one cared, but really took the steam out of it. Kind of crazy. The two guys broke that long-standing record in one season. It's almost like they were on drugs.
Yo, have you seen Sammy Sosa lately?
No.
Oh my Lord.
Deflated?
No. He like bleached his whole self.
His whole self?
Yeah, his hair is like bleach blonde and he bleached his skin.
Kidding.
No. Like look, just look up like
wow,
Sammy Sosa
he looks weird.
Before and after.
Yeah, I don't
terrifying,
see
right?
I don't see any pictures of the blonde, but yeah.
Yeah,
wow. He looks weird.
He did a thing. I don't understand what he did, but
looks like he's had some plastique done to his face too. Weird look, Sammy. It's a weird look, bruh. A weird look.
But yeah, man, that was a crazy
cool
year.
To live through. That was kind of neat for a neat year to watch baseball. We didn't know what
it was a
going on at the
3-man
time.
race in the beginning. You remember who the third one was that they thought might had a crack at it until he kind of dropped off?
It wasn't Bonds?
No, that year it was like who's going to break the record? Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, or Ken Griffey Jr.?
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
Early on. Yeah, he was
he
on
had a
pace.
really hot start, and he had
That's right.
he had this crazy pace in the beginning of the season. They thought he might do it, but it wound up being the other two.
He was a great player
Oh, he's wonderful.
overall. Just an incredible player. Did you ever see that documentary on the Marlins?
No,
Check it out sometime.
on the
No, wait,
Marlins.
I got that wrong. Did
You
you ever
mean
see
the
that?
Mariners?
Yeah, did you ever see that documentary about the Mariners?
I've seen stuff about that one incredible season that they had. They won like 117 games or something crazy.
There's a great documentary about the team on YouTube. I'll have to send it to you. It's bizarrely statistical, but it's
I've seen
incredibly
it.
interesting. You seen
I've
this?
seen it. Yeah, it's like what's the name of the channel? It's like
Can't remember. I would have told
it's
you.
just math. It's very mathematical and statistical.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
seen it.
Tons of history. My wife turned me on to it, and it's just it seems like it's going to be dry, but it's one of the most interesting things I've ever seen about baseball.
The name of the channel's on the tip of my tongue. I know what you're talking about. I watched it. It was really interesting.
I'm going to look it up for everybody. All right, so the documentary is called what? The History of the Seattle Mariners from Dorktown
I think
on
so.
YouTube.
Yeah.
All right. Go check
Really
it out,
interesting.
baseball fans.
I mean, and if you're it's very mathematical, and if you're into statistics, my God, there is no bigger rabbit hole for statistical analysis than baseball. Holy crap. Just like
Watch this and watch Moneyball, and you'll be in heaven.
the numbers games you can play with just like trying to figure out everyone's averages for all these different scenarios. It's crazy. It's crazy.
All right, now I'm going to ask you about what a lot of people think of as a classic baseball movie. How do you feel about Bull Durham, another Costner?
Bull Durham, I saw I can't speak on it too much. I saw it a long time ago when I was a kid. I remember virtually nothing about it, but I just remember who's in that? Susan Sarandon?
Yeah, and Tim Robbins and Costner.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it. I just remember that it was a movie about baseball that I watched.
A lot of people love this movie, and I just don't get it. Like, I've given
Really?
it a fair shake. I've seen it way more than once.
Well, what is it? What is it that you don't like about it?
I don't know, dude. Like, tonally, it's weird. It's mostly about banging.
Yeah, I remember like Tim Robbins is like, just a real Lothario.
Kind of. It's more like Susan Sarandon is this chick who bangs luck into baseball players, kind of, and I don't know. It's just a lot of her reciting poetry and just goofy shit. It's just goofy. Like, I don't know. It's
Too
not,
goofy.
It just ain't my cup of tea, man. I just don't dig it. And it's not. I'm sure it's not a bad movie, but it's just not my. It's not my thing, bro. It's not
That's
my
fine.
thing.
That's fine. Don't have to be.
61 was good. 42 was good. Both numbers, both great numbers. 8 Men Out, more numbers. Pretty good movie. That was about the Black Sox scandal.
8 Men Out. I never
Yeah.
saw that one.
Never saw that. That was a good one. It was a good one.
Isn't that like Lucky Luciano? Is that when he fixed the World Series?
No, it was Rothstein fixed the World
Rothstein.
Series. Not Luciano. It was Rothstein. He ended up getting prosecuted for it. But this is about the 8 dudes who were allegedly bribed to throw the World Series on the Chicago White Sox. Charlie Sheen actually plays one of them, believe it or not. He's very young.
Charles Sheen?
Charles Sheen. And kids, for your viewing pleasure, Michael Rooker.
Michael Rooker. You remembered his name.
Yay.
The guy,
And
the fucking guy from Cliffhanger.
That fucking guy from Cliffhanger, he's in it. Mallrats. John Mahoney is in it too. That's Marty from Frasier.
Mm.
And a young John Cusack, of course.
John
Buck Weaver.
Cusack. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. A little depressing. Not so great for, or not a great time for baseball, but still part of the history. Now there are a few shitty baseball movies. There's not as many. I tried to think of as many as I could, and I didn't come up with too many. Maybe I missed something. Maybe you remember something. I don't know. But when we were young, John Goodman starred in a movie about Babe Ruth called The Babe.
The Babe.
This was not a good movie. It had potential. I think he was pretty good casting wise. They put a fake nose on him and shit, which is a little weird. And I don't know, man. There was just something about it. It was badly paced. It was really weird and draggy in places. It just had no real narrative thread. You know, it was just kind of episodes that may have happened to Babe Ruth, and if you read the trivia about it, you find out most of it's like maybe not. I don't know. It's just not a good movie, and the rating is low for a reason, and nobody really remembers it for a reason.
I saw parts of that. That's like one of those people make like biopics, right?
Yeah.
And there's a right way and a wrong way to make a biopic. There are the biopics that like just literally show you what happened in someone's life, and it feels like more of a book report of like their autobiography. Whereas like there are other biopics that like maybe focus on they have an angle, and they're telling a specific story. That story happens to be part of this person's life. And like to me, those are the ones that work, as opposed to the ones that just like, here is the entire story of this person.
Yeah, that's why filmmakers, when they're making a good biopic, they have to take some liberties with the facts, or the order in things happened, or the compressed time sometimes, because they got to make it flow as a movie. I don't know what the hell went wrong with The Babe, but it's just it's not good. It's not fun to watch. Goodman isn't even really at the top of his game in it, which is rare, but this is no good. It's just no good.
No good.
Another one I fucking hate is Tommy Lee Jones was in a movie about Ty Cobb in the 90s.
Oh, yeah. I heard about that. I wanted that. I thought that looked cool.
It was just called Cobb, and I remember there was a lot of marketing behind it when it was coming out in theaters. There was commercials for it all the time. Like, it seemed like it was going to be the next big thing. Like, Field of Dreams came out in 89, and the baseball movies did pretty good throughout the 90s. And it died on arrival at the box office because it's just a shit movie. It's just like Tommy Lee Jones acting drunk and angry the whole time and like pissing on people and shit. And I don't know. The baseball isn't great. There's only snippets because he was kind of too old to play Ty Cobb when he was playing. And a lot of the movie is him as an older guy kind of forcing this young dude to drive him across the country while giving him an interview. It's just weird, man. And it's one of those movies that just doesn't have enough baseball in it,
Right.
And it's just too much everything. And again, nobody remembers it because it sucked. It wasn't a good movie. Sometimes they miss, even though it was a period piece. It should have been good. And actually, it was about an era of baseball you don't see in movies much, like the pre-World War II era, the old baseball, which is interesting. You'd think there would be more.
Right. Yeah, like that golden age.
Yeah, considering it's maybe, I don't know, it is the oldest, it's like this country's oldest sport, so.
My God, yeah, you go back to, you hear about like how old some of these teams are. The Phillies. The Phillies are the oldest oldest club with like the same name. The oldest
Yeah, that hasn't
continuous.
hasn't moved.
They've been the Phillies since like 1910 or something crazy.
Like 100 years
There
and plus, man. It's wild.
there are older ball clubs that have changed names over the years, but the Phillies have been the Phillies for like longer than any other team has had any name.
Do you know what the oldest ball club is? They don't have the original name, and they've moved, but they're still
Hold
around.
on. Is it Cincinnati?
Mm-mm.
No. Hold on. I used to know this.
Closer.
Is it St. Louis?
Closer.
Closer.
One more.
Oh.
You get one more.
What did I say? Cincinnati. I said St. Louis. Cleveland.
No. Baltimore.
Baltimore?
Baltimore. They were actually the original Boston team. They were the Boston Red Stockings, believe it or not. And then that name got retired, and they moved to, I believe, they made another stop somewhere else before they ended up in Baltimore. But it is the oldest team.
Dang.
And then, of course, the Cincinnati Reds took the Red Stockings name
Right.
in the beginning and then shortened it to the Reds. And Boston just became the Red Sox, which is also weird. I don't know why they were so obsessed with their foot cloth. The foot cloth and the color thereof of that foot cloth.
Yeah, there's the Red Sox, the White Sox, the Red Stockings.
Seriously, dude, what the fuck was it? Was baseball just like the only stocking sport? I guess so, huh? No stockings in tennis.
No.
And I hate cricket, man. I fucking hate cricket.
Why
I'm
do you
sorry.
hate cricket?
I just fucking hate it. It's like dumb baseball. Like, I really just fucking hate it. I hate the way the fucking field looks. I hate that no one has a mitt. And it's just so slow. The balls are slow. It's just fucking. Oh, I don't get it. You got to know what a crumpet is to understand cricket. No.
A crumpet?
Yeah.
What's a crumpet?
Turtles, man. Remember?
What?
Turtles movie. Casey Jones with the cricket
Oh,
bat.
yeah. Cricket.
You got to know what a crumpet is to understand cricket. Teach you.
Right. Oh, yeah, and he blasts Raphael in the face with a cricket bat.
Ends up in the trash can.
I saw a weird baseball movie. I'm having trouble remembering the name of it. It was when I was a kid, there was this baseball movie about a major league player who was like struggling in the MLB, and he winds up going to Japan to restart his career because baseball's huge in Japan. Tom Selleck was in it.
Yeah.
What's the name of this movie?
I've seen this.
It was called Mr. Baseball.
Yes. Mr. Because there was one that was a little similar to that with Bernie Mac.
That was Mr. 3000.
Yeah. Mr. Baseball, 1992. Yep, that was it. Tom Selleck. That wasn't that bad. It was a little racist. Very much of the 1992 era.
Yeah, it was him like adjusting to the culture shock of having to go to Japan. And
it was like
learn
Lost in Translation, but Tom Selleck in baseball. That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. Mr. 3000 wasn't that great, but it was. Bernie Mac is pretty great. So I've seen it. I don't hate it. I wouldn't call either one of those bad baseball movies.
No,
that's a good one, man. Good. That was good. I forgot about that one.
I like that movie. I mean, or at least I did when I saw it in 1992.
It's been that long.
Yeah, I saw it like when it came out.
I think I watched it last year, maybe. My wife and I went on a kick watching baseball movies we hadn't seen yet, and that was one of them. Well, I saw it. I don't think I ever saw that when I was a kid. And we watched For the Love of the Game, the one where Kevin Costner plays a pitcher. I had never seen that before either.
That's one I've never seen.
When I watched it, I understood why it didn't do very well, but at the same time, I liked it. it's a picture. The whole story is framed within. All right, Kevin Costner's pitching a perfect game, and all of the movie is basically what's going on in his head as he's pitching this game. And so it's basically the story of his recent life told through flashbacks. And every so often it comes back to the game.
Huh.
And then it ends when, the game ends.
Does he get the perfect game?
Yeah, he does.
Oh, good job.
I ruined it for you. And it's also probably going to be his last game too. So, and I think the game is like utterly meaningless from the season standpoint.
I saw something about this. They were filming at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, and they couldn't get permission from Steinbrenner
because he didn't want the Yankees to lose.
Yeah, he's such a fucking prick. And Costner just straight up lied to him. And yeah, man, the Yankees go on to win the pennant, and they even win the World Series. They don't talk about what happens after the game at all in the movie.
Yeah, what's funny though? At the end of that interview, he says like they really did in real life. They won the series that year.
Yeah, that's right. They did. That was during that era when no one won the World Series but the Yankees for like a decade.
Oh my God, yeah, that whole team was
miserable,
stacked.
What a miserable era.
Yeah, I hated it.
I don't know.
What are we missing?
I don't know, man. I mean, we talked about Major League 1 and 2. There was a Major League 3. Back to the minors. It was okay. It was serviceable. Scott Bakula is the lead. He plays a washed-up pitcher who ends up coaching this minor league team. What's his name? The guy from L.A. Law who was in the original. Corbin Burnson.
God.
Corbin Burnson. He comes back. He's like the owner now of the Cleveland Indians and subsequently their farm team. So he's in it a little bit, and Pedro Serrano comes back, and Tanaka from the second one comes back. I don't know. It's kind of fun. It's worth watching. It's goofier than the other two, but it's not bad.
This is really out there. Did you ever see a movie called Body Bags?
I don't think so.
Body Bags was like this crazy anthology movie, kind of like Creepshow, like different little horror vignettes, right?
Okay.
But it was John Carpenter and Tobe Hooper.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's one weirdness.
One of the ones directed by Tobe Hooper was about a baseball player played by Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill plays like this power hitter, which is hilarious to me.
He's like 5'4", isn't he?
Yeah, he plays this baseball player who's having like this. He's a minor leaguer. He's having this incredible season, and they're going to call him up to the majors. But when he gets into an accident on the way home, and he loses an eye.
I remember this. Oh my God, is that what this was?
Yeah, it's from Body Bags.
Oh my God, dude! I always thought this was a Tales from the Crypt in my head.
Yeah, he loses an eye, and they're like, he goes, "That's the eye I see the ball with. Oh, my career is over." And they're like, "We have this experimental surgery. We can give you a new eye,
right, with someone else's eye."
Yeah, but that someone else was like a killer, and he starts like having these like crazy visions of like wanting to kill people, and then he winds up stabbing his own eye back out with a piece of glass.
I remember it freaked me the fuck out as a kid, dude. You just unlocked a core memory. This is like when we saw that fucking Emilio Estevez thing in Nightmares.
The Bishop of Battle.
Yeah, the Bishop of Battle, dude. This is freaking me out. Yeah, 1993 this came out. Body Bags. Oh my God, I have to hunt this down now.
Yeah, it's goofy as hell.
Sam Raimi is in it.
It's on, you know where I saw it? I saw it on
Wes
Shudder.
Craven's in it. Oh my God, all these people have all these cameos. This is awesome. Oh my God, dude. You've done something to me. Oh, you unzip me, man. You unzip me. Oh.
Yeah, happy to help, Dave.
Yeah, there it is. Mark Hamill, Brent Matthews. Twiggy is in this.
Yeah.
Twiggy, Roger
I think
Corman.
I think she's Yeah, who's Twiggy in the? I think
It says Kathy Matthews.
she plays his wife.
Yeah, his wife. Oh, dude, check out who plays the team manager. Charles Napier. Outstanding. Outstanding. He was in a lot of exploitation movies back in the 70s. And then he got bit parts in big movies through the 80s. He was in Rambo 2. He was Murdoch, the CIA asshole in Rambo 2. That's what I know him best from. But he was
is he the bad guy from Karate Kid?
No. He was in Silence of the Lambs. You know, the prison, the guard that he handcuffs to the bars, Hannibal Lecter.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and he's the one he guts and hangs up on the bars, like all Bloody Eagle style. That's Charles Napier. And he's been in a bunch of stuff. He was in The Cable Guy. He was like a cop in The Cable Guy. Very recognizable face and voice. I just love seeing him and stuff. He's one of those actors I look for and shit. Thank you, Tom.
Hey, man, my pleasure.
See if I can get this on the super secret server here.
I know what you're doing later tonight.
Body bags. Body bag. Body count. Body count. Remember that band? That awful goddamn band?
Body count?
Yeah, with Ice-T.
Oh, yeah.
His
Cop Killer.
Yeah. He had all that trouble for Cop Killer. I remember all these adults got all bent out of shape and everyone was freaking out. And we're like, this band sucks so bad.
Like, it's a rap rock song. Calm down.
And it was like a manufactured rap rock. Like, it's like we are setting out to make a rap rock band with Ice-T. And it was so stupid. Body count. What? Body count.
That was before he was delivering cherry lines on a Law and Order
SVU.
special victims unit.
He on the down low.
John Mulaney does this really funny bit about Ice-T.
I know. I've seen it. It's great.
Yeah, everything comes out the same. It's like, hey, yo, they found sperm in the victim's ear canal.
If you would have told me that guy was going to be a cop on TV, I never would have believed you, ever. He scared the shit out of so many parents when we were young. I just cannot believe. Whatever. Everybody sells out. Where were we? How the fuck did we start talking?
Mark Hamill, baseball, body bags.
That was circuitous. That's lovely. Okay. Yeah, I think
flat circle.
Again, man, we're just in constant agreement here. Like we like the same fucking baseball movies, I guess. If I ever find one that we didn't talk about that we haven't seen, I'll let you know, man. I think we covered the shit out of it.
Yeah, there's a lot. We covered a lot.
I think I'd like to give an honorable mention to the pilot episode of Quantum Leap. There was a cool baseball segment in that. I just wanted to say that.
Okay.
You know what might have been the worst baseball movie of all time? Twilight.
What?
Twilight.
What?
Twilight.
Hang on. Back up.
What?
Twilight is the worst baseball movie of all time?
I think so. Yeah.
I've never seen Twilight.
I have never seen it in its entirety, but if all you need to know is go to YouTube and look up Twilight Baseball and just watch and just marvel at the fact that this was in not only a major Hollywood film, but a really, really popular one.
So it's a real scene from Twilight.
Yes. Vampires play baseball.
Oh, the vampires play baseball?
An entire group of vampires wait for a cloudy day and they go out and they don't play at night. They don't play at night under lights. They go out and they play baseball on cloudy days.
Why couldn't they just play at night?
Because I don't think the author realized that you play baseball at night. I'm saying it. Fuck that lady. I don't give a shit. She can fight me if she wants. You hear that? You fucking hack who wrote a goddamn book on your BlackBerry. Fuck you, lady.
If she ever hears this, then I'll call that a win.
Yeah, if she hears this, that means we're successful. And her and that 50 Shades lady can chortle my balls. Fuck them both. You go watch that goddamn sparkly skinned baseball scene and you tell me if you're not angry at her.
Do I have to, man? You give me a lot of stuff to watch.
All right, well.
How highly should I prioritize Twilight baseball?
I think that while you're taking a shit, you can take a look at Twilight baseball on YouTube. It's like a 2-minute scene. Just watch it.
Okay. Done.
Just watch it.
Right. Consider it done.
Poop homework. Poop work.
Good Lord.
You're dedicated to Mr. Falcon even whilst pooping. I love you.
Am, man. I'm so far in, I'm out.
All right, cool. So we did baseball movies. I think next we have a couple more sports categories to tackle in the future. We should do football movies, which will be pretty short. And we really have to get to boxing movies that aren't Rocky, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great boxing movies out there that we have strong feelings about that are outside of the Rocky realm.
You know what I would like to do?
What's that?
I think we should come up with a top 5 sports movies.
Overall?
Like where does Rocky stack up against like The Natural or my personal favorite sports movie, Miracle?
There are some good hockey movies.
Miracle. Oh man, Slapshot.
I love Slapshot, dude. I love Slapshot. I love Goon.
Oh, Goon is great. I've seen Goon.
Great movie. Great movie. Yeah, okay. I'm into it.
Yeah. Like where do they fall? You know, and it's hard to do across sports, but you know, I think we have it in us to come up with the list.
Yeah. And then where does Replacements go? And is Any Given Sunday on the list? And oh yeah, The Longest, Brian's Song.
Rudy.
Heaven Can Wait. Rudy. Yeah, Rudy. There you go. Rudy. All right.
Hoosiers.
Oh, God, I've seen that fucking movie so many times. Hoosiers. Blue Chips. Basketball movie. There haven't been too many good basketball movies.
White Men Can't Jump.
Teen Wolf. Great basketball movie. Great basketball film.
We gotta find the curling movie. Did I ever tell you this story?
No, there's a curling movie?
Yeah. I know this because I was watching the Winter Olympics. I love the Olympics. I love the Olympics. The spectacle of it. I love watching
the pageantry.
Bizarre. No, not so much that, but just like
you
the
love the
bizarre sports.
The feathers. And the accoutrement.
All of it. The bizarre sports that you don't get to see on a regular basis. They did a little thing on curling and how big curling it is in Canada. Mm-hmm. And that there's this guy talking about, like, you know, curling is so popular. More people tune in to the National Curling Finals than do the Stanley Cup Finals, even in a year when a Canadian team is playing. And I was like, wow, curling seems really popular. And then they say there's even a major motion picture about curling. And then they cut to a clip. And I was like, oh boy, this looks awesome. You see four figures walking on the ice, backlit. So they're just black silhouettes on this ice rink. One of them, or they have the brooms over their shoulders and they're walking in slow motion. One of them's like got the stone swinging next to him. And then they show some dude like leaning on the half boards of a hockey rink. And he's like staring into the middle distance, just reflecting. And he's talking to someone. And he says, yeah, man, it's 42 pounds of polished stone. And when it moves, bang, It's like poetry in motion. I fell off the fucking couch.
You gotta fucking
I
be
was
kidding
like,
me, man.
"What?
Really?
I gotta find this. We gotta see the curling movie."
It's like me and my broom were one, you know?
Yeah, the broom
Holy shit,
is an
dude. That,
extension of my arm.
bro, curling is just bocce ball for ice people. That's all it is. It's for people who
Yeah,
don't
it
have
really
grass. It's just bocce for people who don't have grass.
It's like ice bowling.
Barely. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Curling movie.
What a
right.
hoser.
What a hoser. Total hoser. I like it. We'll get to it. We'll do sports stuff. We'll do sports things.
Put it on the list.
Does billiards count? Are billiards sports? Is the billiards sport?
Oh, well, here that brings up another age-old question of like billiards, bowling. Is bowling a sport?
Tennis.
I think tennis is a sport.
Bowling. Yeah, is bowling a sport?
Bowling is sport.
I mean, I think so. You can be a professional bowler and make money at it. So
Yeah, you can be a professional dart thrower and make money at it. Is throwing darts a sport?
yeah, what else would it be? Yeah, I think so.
Are bowlers athletes?
Yes.
I think bowling's a game.
What's the difference? Baseball's a game.
Yeah, but so's fucking Parcheesi.
That's a board game.
Yeah, I know.
It's different.
Tag is a game.
Yeah, but it's not complicated enough of a game to make a sport out of it. You know, I think any sport, any game that requires enough skill that people will bet money on it, like can get to that echelon where people will bet on it. I mean, you got to kind of consider it a sport.
People bet on everything.
I understand, but
They
like,
bet on the coin flip at the beginning of the football game.
I mean, at its base, boxing is just two dudes beating the Christ out of each other. That's
Boxing's
a sport. Yeah,
It's
a
directly
sport.
competitive. It's two
So
men
is
facing
bowling.
off.
Bowling is two men facing all with balls and a bunch of white dicks. That's some manly shit, man. But horseshoes
So it's
is
all-
a goddamn sport.
Horseshoes is a sport?
Horseshoes is a fucking sport, man. A sport of kings.
Sport of kings.
You haven't seen competition until you've witnessed a bunch of middle-aged white men who are really pissed off after working all day and really drunk, fucking hurling hunks of steel at each other.
You and I did something similar. Were you on the
What?
team? Remember when we entered that bocce tournament?
Yeah, at the social club there over
Yeah.
Phil's thing, right?
We started drinking Coors Light at 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
And by the time our bracket came up, we were so hammered.
they're shit-faced. We
that
barely played.
We went up against 4 old Italian farts who destroyed us.
Fucking sober
was-
as shit.
It wasn't even close.
That beer
It
tasted weird, man. Like the lines weren't clean or something. It tasted like plastic.
I didn't
Drank
notice
a lot of
after
it
a
though
while.
because it was free.
We got slaughtered by 4 just old Italian dudes.
Yeah, I forgot it was you and me. Wow,
Yeah.
that's how drunk I was. Shit. I mean, you're not supposed to play that. That's a. I would submit that I don't know. That's a game. Like bocce's a game. You know, I know people do take it very serious, and I'm sorry, Italians over in Italy. I know you take it super serious, and there's courts and shit, but most people just like play it on grass and like lawn darts.
Golf is played on grass.
Golf is not a sport. Golf is dog shit.
Wait a minute. You're gonna say
I'm kidding.
golf?
I just hate golf. I do like golf movies, though. There are some golf movies I truly do like.
Like Tin Cup.
I am a fan of Tin Cup. I
Never
really
seen Tin
liked
Cup.
Happy Gilmore, Tin Cup. Not The Legend of Bagger Vance. That is not a good film. All right, what about racing? Horse or car?
Is that a sport?
Yeah, like, are we going to count that in sports movies? Like, does Days of Thunder count? Does Ricky Bobby count? Does Seabiscuit?
Drive.
Driven, sir.
Driven.
The film
Driven.
is
Driven.
the cinematic masterpiece is Driven. It's definitely the worst racing movie ever made.
Rush.
Ford versus Ferrari. I love that movie. That's great. You ever see that? Matt Damon and Christian Bale.
No,
Excellent movie.
I've heard that. I've heard that's good.
It's a good car movie. It's a good racing movie. It's excellent. Rush is the one with Thor, right?
Yeah, Thor and the guy that plays Baron Zemo.
And the dude from Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah.
He was that too, right? Baron Z, that's from the MCU?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
He's the one that like makes them all fight each other in Civil War.
Yeah. He was Frederick Zoller in Inglourious Bastards. Okay. Wow, we got decisions to make, man.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot out there. We can fight.
So we're gonna have to argue about billiards.
Yeah.
All right. When is a game a sport? When is a game a sport? The internet probably will tell us, but I'd rather argue about it with you.
Yeah. I got it. Let me put together some notes. We'll
Fantastic. We'll get the team on it and we'll crack it out. I like
team of analysts.
It's just my dog, really. This is my fucking dog, and your 5-year-old just working together.
Yep.
With an iPad.
We'll get answers.
Excellent. Happy baseball season, Tom. Go Phils.
Go Phils.
Go Phils.